biotecture is achieving sustenance through encounter of earth phenomena. I mean, we all need sustenance. So that's what biotecture is. It's a profession. We have an academy that teaches this profession. Actually, we have a university that's about to let people get credit for their doctorate degree by taking this course. It is a different direction. What is earth phenomena? There's just some of them. Wind, rain, sun, gravity, condensation, thermal mass, lightning, rainbows, all aspects of biology and physics, and much, much more. This is the phenomena of this planet. People ask me a lot what architect, was my mentor, and who did I, really look up to and learn from, and the only human that even comes close to me looking at them as a mentor would be Noah. He built a boat out in the middle of the desert, and everybody called him an idiot. I could relate to that. But it's a tree. A tree drops its leaves. They aren't in wrappers. They just fall to the earth and become earth. The tree has pipes that suck up water. The tree puts out oxygen, and the animals and us need it. And the animals put out CO2, and the tree needs it. There's a nice exchange there. The tree has its own energy system of absorbing the energy of the sun. The tree just sits there and encounters the phenomena of the planet. Why can't we do that? And so I keep coming back to the 6 things that we as humans have to have. Does anybody not need water? Raise your hand. We need energy. We need something to do with our sewage. A lot of people think it just goes away. It doesn't really just go away. We need something to do with our garbage. Well, other than the garbage trucks pick it up and it goes away. We need food. We need to know where the food comes from. We need to know that it's good food. We need to know it doesn't have dyes and isn't grown just for money and chemicals and whatever. And we need shelter that's comfortable, and that's comfortable without using fuel. So again, we put these 6 points that everyone has to deal with they're the curriculum of our academy. Everyone needs water, everyone needs to treat sewage, everyone needs food, everyone needs something to do with garbage, everyone needs comfortable shelter, and everyone needs electricity. We are addressing those issues. That's what the whole program is about. We do it in a custom way, if you want it. We have expensive custom buildings that do this, and they're beautiful. But we also have a standard Toyota Corolla way of doing it. That's what's really necessary for the developed world. But if you ever think about it, the developed world people, I consider all of us the developed world people. We're only about 20% of the population of the earth. There's 80% of the people there that they can't even afford a Toyota Corolla. They don't even know what a mortgage is. So we get this standard model going, but it's still only for 20% of the people on the planet, or less. But the buildings, the standard models do look like regular buildings. They're not like teepees in the desert. But then we have been introduced to the fact that we need an economy version of this, and we have that. The economy version, we call it the simple survival earthship. So we approach this in these 3 realms, and we approach the 6 points and apply them. So the use of what we call natural and recycled materials, I pretend I came here from another planet. A lot of people say that that's the truth. But I look out there and I see billions of trees, and I look out there and I see billions of tires. What's the difference? They grew here. Trees grew here, tires grew here. That's all I know. So I'm saying, why not use these tires? Termites don't eat them. They don't rot. When you fill them with earth like this and beat it into them, they're tremendous thermal mass. That's the key ingredient of these buildings, of your body, your body's mass. If you weren't a sack of water, I'm sorry to tell you that you're all just a sack of water. You're a sack of water, that's thermal mass. If you weren't a sack of water, because you are a sack of water, you eat food. The food turns to energy. It heats up the water to the temperature that you're supposed to be, that you stay at. And if you notice, you always stay at that same temperature. It's because of your mass. Your mass causes you to be able to stay at that temperature, and you eat 2 or 3 times a day to keep that temperature. If you did not have water, if you weren't a sack of water, you would eat all day long just to constantly make energy, because you got no storage of energy. Your water mass stores the energy. That's exactly the way our buildings are in today's world. We have to pump energy into them all day, every day, because there's no mass. There's nothing to store the energy. We just throw the energy at them, build nuclear power plants to get it, and throw energy at buildings. What we're saying is we want to build buildings like our bodies. We want to make the buildings store temperature. And so I don't even think of building a building without mass. I'm not locked into tires, but they're pretty nice. I mean, stone, but you can't get it everywhere. Concrete, it's not very dense. Dense mass is what it really is. Tires beat with earth are fantastic. You can fill them full of mud and garbage, and you end up with plastered walls that look like this. This is garbage. This is garbage housing. This is hippie, crazy garbage housing in the deserts of New Mexico. Be a hippie, live a little. I never was a hippie, I swear. And when you look at them structurally, we drove an 8-yard, which means an 8 cubic meter concrete truck full onto a 2-course tire wall. And the only thing that scrunched up a little was the wood. We've put out books and manuals to show people how to do it themselves. We've done it for retaining walls in Ushuaia, southern tip of Argentina. This is with lorry tires. This is a fantastic retaining wall. We take bottles. We cut them, cut the necks off. We make bottle bricks. They're stained glass. They're beautiful. They last forever. Anybody can do it. They're beauty. And we throw them away. We don't know what to do with them. We just throw them away. But doing this doesn't take long to learn how to do, and these kind of walls will last forever. I mean, I've had people from this picture right here ask me, how did you get all those beautiful colors in the wall? They didn't even know they were bottles, So, but we use them. In Guatemala, we use them everywhere. And plastic bottles. This is Sierra Leone. They have billions of plastic bottles down there. We do the same thing with plastic bottles. This is a school in Sierra Leone. This is a school in the Philippines, a storm shelter school in the Philippines, plastic bottles. This is plastic bottles. I've had people ask me on this picture, how did you get those sand dollars in there? It's the bottom of plastic bottles, It's garbage. So plastic bottles, this is all gold. What I'm really talking about here is alchemy, This is turning dross into gold. And we got a lot of criticism for it at first, but it's changing. Aluminum cans. You can get a deposit for them. You can take them back. You can crush them up and they melt them down again. But you can also use them as bricks. Bottles and can bricks, making buildings. And here's the other thing. These things, think of all the places you've been in your life. Can you tell me any place that you've been that they don't have cans, they don't have bottles, and they don't have tires? I've been all over the world. I have never been to a country or city or village that didn't have tires. Actually, I was just in a village in Colombia that you could own, not a village, a place where we're building an earthship that you can't get to by car. You only have to get there by mule or boat. There was no tires there because there was nothing there. So we brought a boat full of tires and stacked them up on the beach. It's beautiful. And built a building out of it. So anyway, buildings can be built. This is Jamaica. These are, you get in this method of thinking and you can't get out of it. This is refrigerator, washing machine, stove, panels. Every dump has a bunch of them. We go and harvest them and make roofing out of them. I even did body work on my Mercedes with it. And my Mercedes runs on grease. And bottle caps used as grout. Cardboard used as insulation in the Philippines. So these are natural materials. I don't see them as any different than mud, stone, wood, bottles, cans, tires. They're indigenous to the whole planet. Tires are indigenous. Bottles are indigenous. Mud's indigenous. Wood's indigenous. I don't see a difference. So the next one of these points that we look at is thermal solar heating and cooling. Basically, this is normal buildings right here. This is an earth building, let's say. We go into the earth with the building. And this building, because of the earth, like your body, stores temperature. If there was no sun, this building, the toilet bowl would freeze in this building. If there was no sun in this building, it might be cool. You might need a little backup heat, maybe 25% of what you did have in a building like this. This is a diagram of these earthship buildings. They're basically admitting the sun. They have a 2-meter thick rear wall. A meter of it is tires. And rigid, this magenta color is totally rigid insulation, trapping the temperature in the walls. It's a fact of physics. I said this is biology and physics. It's a fact of physics that heat goes to the cooler place. So this is what happens. Heat from the room goes into the walls. At night, when the room cools down, heat leaks out of the walls. It's just that simple. But it's very much like your body. So you're storing heat in walls. Now, if you put that heat in from the sun, that's great. But if you put that heat in from a heater or a laptop, or almost make a batch of cookies, have sex, whatever. Any way you can produce heat, it's going to go into your walls. It gets stored in your walls. It's a minor amount of heat, but your walls just keep storing it and storing it. They get back, but these buildings actually get warmer every year. And in the summertime, the sun is higher, doesn't go into buildings. The greenhouse gets hot, causes convection. That's a phenomena. And it sucks air through tubes that brings a natural ventilation happening all the time. We teach a whole, 3 or 4 classes course on all of this. I can't go into all the idiosyncrasies now, but here are the cooling tubes happening in a building. Here's the thermal wrap. Here's the 2-meter thick wall with the insulation and the water collection cisterns. And you end up with this buffer zone, we call it. It's a greenhouse hallway, sewage treatment, food growing buffer zone between where you live in here and the severe temperatures outside. This is a graph that some Australian guy made. He did a whole bunch of tests on the earthships. And this is Fahrenheit, and this is Celsius. This is the low temperature, minus 29, 30 Celsius. And this is the high temperature, around 40 Celsius, that we get where we live. We have extremes. These are the temperatures inside the earthship that he stayed in without fuel. Constant. And these buildings work everywhere, but we don't, in the tropical zone, it's possibly even overkill to do them. In the tropical zone, we're working with trying to do it a much more inexpensive way just by moving air with the same convection. And we have a whole tropical setup of earthships that uses ventilation and natural convection, but still bottles, cans, tires, because the tropics are full of them. And again, that's the overview of the thermal solar situation. Solar wind electricity, everybody knows about that. Solar panels. One reason it works so well in these buildings is because these buildings have a very small demand for electricity because they're light already and they don't need electricity for fans or heating or anything like that. So the solar electricity and the wind electricity can pretty much take care of these buildings. This is a radio station in New Mexico powered by the sun. We started building a lot of vertical axis windmills because the conventional windmills are pretty noisy and they break a lot. And so we made these windmills. We had a little compound out in the desert where we experimented with windmills and finally got to the point of making one that is really quiet. Notice how quiet that is. And makes electricity and doesn't need much maintenance. And the main thing is you can make it. Any village that's got a welding shop can make this thing. There it is. We're doing it on the top of a building in Midtown Manhattan. That noise is the wind blowing in the camera. So they're evolving, vertical axis windmills. That, we don't have time to go into all the structure of all of them. Water harvesting, another one of the points. We harvest water in the building. The building is shaped to collect water. Tropical and four-season buildings all collect water, store it in cisterns. The cisterns are like mini aquifers. They're buried, they're in darkness, so algae doesn't grow. And they're basically functioning just like mini aquifers built into what we call the global model Earthship, collecting water. There they are. The cisterns go in as the structure goes up, and we actually build the building with its own water. Here it is in Jamaica. They don't have to be buried. They are still in darkness. Here it is in action. It's not rocket science. I mean, you're catching water off of a metal roof. Everybody's seen that. It goes into a gutter. But places are they have a lot of rain, yet they have wells, yet they have a municipal water system full of chlorine and fluoride. This is rainwater. It's your water. It comes from the sky. You don't need pipes. You don't need a water treatment plant. Oslo, they get a lot of rain there, but they have a big lake that is their water supply, reservoir. And last time I was there, somebody dumped something in it and nobody had water, because they poisoned it. And they had to get it cleaned up. You got your own water supply from the sky. It's yours. You don't need pipes. You don't need the municipality. It's clean, pure rainwater. And so the buildings make you have water. And they have this system that we call a WOM, a water organizing module, that pressurizes it and filters it. Then when you use water, it becomes sewage. And so we have what we call botanical cells that take the sewage from your shower through rubber-lined trenches full of gravel and sand and then dirt to structure the plants. The plants, what really goes on in here without going into the detail, which you'd have to take the whole course for, is the plants, as they suck up the water, they spit out oxygen. It's called oxygenation. They oxygenate the water. We regather that water to flush the toilet with. So we're flushing the toilet with shower water from the day before. We also recirc that water all day long. So it's a big filter, a plant filter. And it produces food. And it does away with your sewage. And it's in your living room. I actually got in trouble for running sewage through the living room. That's what they called it. I'm running sewage through the living room. It's the truth. I can't deny it. But you end up living with a jungle. So these are earthships that are just jungles. The real deal is the system. This is a conventional system. Plumbing, septic tank, drain field. But we just make a loop for our part, and you end up having inherently a conventional system. There's a whole lot more to talk about that, but that's the idea of it. So you got a foot of snow outside and you got bananas inside. I'm not lying, it's the truth. And so the inside of earthships is a botanical gardens, a biosphere, a jungle. When it's minus 30 anything outside. So every earthship is a jungle inside. That's part of the game. This is just the pump panel that pumps it up to flush the toilet. The toilet goes to a conventional septic tank, and it drains into not the earth, but another rubber-lined cell. When you live in your earthship in the desert, you're creating greenery. This is one of our people that works with us. This is his sewage system. Nothing goes into the desert. It's all contained and saved. And that's what it looks like today. And it causes different birds and creatures to come to live there that wouldn't normally live in the desert. And then, of course, this all leads to food production. Look at the floor plan here of this building. Half of the floor plan is food production. So we're producing food. All of this food I'm showing you is from 2 buildings, 2 different earthships only. Melons, cucumbers, squash, peppers, tomatoes, strawberries, all of that. Broccoli. I've learned to love broccoli, especially if I grow up myself. All of these things, whatever that is, I don't know. Root crops, we get so much of it we have to dry it and can it. Heirloom tomatoes, salads, mushrooms, chocolate, figs. I mean, what kind of food? You can think of any kind of food. You can grow it in your living room. Watermelons, cantaloupes, pineapples. We're at 2,300 meters in New Mexico, frigid temperatures, and we got pineapples inside the building. So whatever that is, zucchini, I guess. Artichokes, great artichokes. Papayas, eggplants, grapes. We have, one of the biggest problems we have in these buildings is this parakeet eats grapes. I had to kill it. Peppers, bananas. If you're asking yourself, what about this food growing in gray water and black water? These are tests from the University of Minnesota. No E. coli, below measurable E. coli from all of these foods grown in the black water cells. It's because E. coli, you get E. coli when you dump sewage on a plant field, not when it goes underneath and through the roots and through the anaerobic process of a septic tank and so on. So you can eat the food is what it amounts to. And so all of these happens in a building like this. And this is a custom version, but we have to illustrate it, in a 5-star way. We use this as an Airbnb nightly rental. It blows people's minds. Lonely Planet called it put it as one of the top 10 eco stays in the world. People actually go there and fish in the pond, but we try to keep them from doing it too much because, there's tilapia in there that are like whales. And so this is the Phoenix. We call it the Phoenix. It's a custom earthship that does all of these things I've been talking about. Has animals, flowers, food, and it's a beautiful place to be. And it's in an area, it uses no fuel. It's in an area that gets frigid cold and super hot outside. And then the standard one, this is just a graphic of the tire work in the standard one, the mass, the thermal mass, you're a sack of water. Well, we want buildings to be just like you. We want them to be a sack of mass, insulated. You're a sack of water and you put a coat on. That's the same thing as us putting this pink insulation around the sack of mass. So this is what we call the global model earthship. They're all over the world. We're getting ready to do one in Bordeaux in France in about 2.5 weeks. Canada, Wyoming, Brighton, Georgia, Holland, France, there already is one in France, Montana, New Mexico, Baja, Mexico. They stay cool, they stay warm. They don't look like caves in the desert. They can be beautiful inside. There's plenty of light. It is a formula house. It can be done in huge scale, split level. You can take it to any realm that you can take conventional housing. So it is housing as an independent global vessel. It's the global model earthship. That's what we're talking about doing here. This is just an animation. I'll go through. I won't do it all, but it's just showing the tire work going up, the vent tubes, the insulation, the mass. It's all labor at first, and not much in the way of materials to get your structure and your mass. And this is the process of doing one of these. There are books out that show all of this. For more extreme climates, even more extreme than this, further north, higher altitudes, you can even add a second greenhouse. So you have 3 layers of thermal glass between you and the cold outside. We're doing drawings for that for a village in Turkey. And the outer greenhouse is used to treat the black water, grow bananas, and as a bike trail connecting the entire village. People often ask about urban applications. This is downtown Manhattan. These are the same global model earthship on towers. This is a real site in Manhattan. It probably is going to happen. This is another urban application. Everybody knows you can build parking garages out of concrete, and every city is always needing parking. So we kind of started out with parking to make the city want it, because they always want parking. So we make a parking garage. And simple, anybody can do it. People do it all the time. And then on the south side of the parking garage, we slide in global model airships. They're exactly the same building that we've been building all over the world. They're just built on the parking garage land rather than on the ground. So it's not, it's a product, it's a proven thing. We've built it a lot of times, we've drawn it a lot of times. We don't want to change it. It's like, why would you change a Toyota Corolla? You know, it's there. You know, they get a little bit better every year, and so do these, but they don't really radically change the design. It's building this thing over and over that has gotten the bugs out of it and made it perform, made it be something that has no surprises. So it's global model airships. This thing, this parking garage, could be 3 to 20 stories, and you can do it in urban areas. There it is in a ski valley in Taos, New Mexico. Then the economy model is all of the same stuff, but just put together in a very simple format, and we call these simple survival airships, and we've done them all over the world. This is southern tip of Argentina. We've also put it all together and do colonies, cities, you know, without infrastructure. And this is in the Galapagos Islands. Then we've done little prototypes all over the world. Some, you know, they're prototypes. They're not the as good as what we do today, but because this goes back 20 or more years. But the prototypes exist in Scotland, Bolivia, Japan, Mexico, Belgium, Honduras, Mexico, Spain, Czech Republic, Germany, New Zealand, Canada, New Zealand, Hawaii, Bonaire, Jamaica, Nicaragua, India, Guatemala, China, Haiti. They're all over the world.